Hi, I'm Sheryl Crow, and this is Soundtrack to My Life. The first song I remember hearing was Alfie, and I believe it was on a Percy Faith record. My parents were huge into music, and they played everything on the Magnavox, but that particular song I remember really well, and I remember the cover of the album. And I must have been, like 3 or 4. And my parents played in a big band, and they played everything from like Stan Getz and Stan Kenton and Buddy Rich to even more popular stuff. And they would come home from gigs and they would play, you know, everything from big band music to crooners to even like James Taylor and the Beatles. But mostly when I was really young, I heard a lot of big band music. I remember vividly being 4 or 5 years old and learning all the words to Downtown by Petula Clark. And my mom tells the story about of course we didn't have seatbelts back then, so I would sit in the very back of the station wagon looking out the back, and I would just be singing Downtown at the top of my lungs. So I clearly have an affinity for British pop. First concert I ever went to was Peter Frampton, and it was on the Do You Feel Like I Do tour. I mean, right at the height of his popularity, and I was 13. Well, we had nosebleed seats, and I was with 2 other 13-year-old girls. My friend's mom brought us and let us go in by ourselves and waited for us. And we managed to make it all the way down to the floor. And it was the first time I ever smelled pot, and it was a great night. Yeah, the first album I ever bought with my own money, I believe, actually it wasn't an album, it was a 45, and it was Walk This Way. Yes, that was the first album I remember buying, and then, first single I remember buying, and the first album, yeah, I couldn't really remember it. I remember the first album I ever owned, which was ABC by the Jacksons, and Santa Claus brought it.
Karaoke.
I don't do karaoke. The only time I've ever done karaoke was to my own song.
Which song?
Picture.
Where was this? Tell me.
And it was in Detroit, and it was with the guy I wrote it with, Kid Rock. So I don't think that constitutes karaoke. I think that constitutes drunken performing in a bar of your own music. I can't really listen to Yellow, believe it or not. And I love Coldplay. It was really popular at a time I was in a really bad relationship, and it just, I don't know, it immediately kind of makes me want to throw up. So I'm sorry, Chris and Coldplay, I love you guys. Without a doubt, all I want to do is have some fun. Totally changed my life. It allowed us to travel all over the world, and we wouldn't probably be here. That put my career on a path. Yeah, we wrote All I Want to Do in Pasadena in 1993, I think it was. And we were just out, this was back in the partying days. We were out drinking and out having margaritas actually in Pasadena. And we went into a bookstore, and I picked up this book of poetry and this poem, which was at the very front of the thin little book, was called Fun. We went back to the studio, and we were jamming actually to a Marvin Gaye song. And we started playing and recording, and then I started just kind of singing some of the words to this poem, thinking that I'll go back and rewrite the song, and we could never beat it. So it was weird. I actually thought the song was just a throwaway, and I wasn't planning on putting it on the record, and so then it became like the biggest song. Well, the song that reminds me of home is The Shadow of Your Smile, mainly because my dad, when I was little, used to always sing that song. He still kind of sings it sometimes, but whenever I hear it, I always think of my parents and being at home and being little. Gosh, I kind of vacillate between Morning is Broken and the theme from Pink Panther. Well, there's just something funny about the theme from Pink Panther. It's just, it's kind of hilarious. Even the song itself is hilarious. And then Morning is Broken just because it's so hopeful and sweet, and it's uplifting.